These guys are ridiculous. These guys are ridiculous.
Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Heat. The Celtics don't deserve to be in the title anymore, so we're gonna change it up.
Well, no, because then we have to talk about the other team, and I don't like doing that.
I know. How about them Celtics? Thank you for joining us. Sam and I are recording. Technically Monday, May 22nd, but it is 12:45. It's the same night the Celtics lost Game 3 to the Miami Heat. I just got back from the Taylor Swift concert. We won't talk about it, but I'm rocking the shirt because I thought it'd be funny. This is a very expensive bit that I'm doing, but
how much does that cost?
$45 t-shirt.
Oh my god!
I will say though, very comfy, and I'm very picky with t-shirts. But
I got like a couple pairs of shorts. They're like my favorite shorts for like $30.
Yeah, I'm rocking,
and that's expensive.
As well. Yeah. But yeah, Celtics just lost Game 3 to the Miami Heat. Let me pull up the final score.
It was very
102 to 128.
They almost won.
Was. I was watching on my phone at the concert, so I didn't watch as in depth as I normally do. But I'm glad I picked this game to not watch in depth because there's not much in-depth analysis you can get from this. Also, before we get too far into this, shout out to any new listeners. We got a lot of love on our last podcast, so I just want to express the appreciation from Heat fans, Celtics fans, NBA fans. Like, just thank you for listening. Subscribe if you're here. We appreciate you. Again, we're going to focus on the Celtics Heat, but just wanted to put the love out there because we appreciate it very much. I was talking to Sam before we started, and I feel like this is just going to be a repeat of last podcast and last podcast was a repeat of the podcast before that because there's just nothing else you can say about this team anymore.
Well, what do you want? What do you want?
They're bad. They just suck. That's the worst analysis I could possibly give as someone who tries to cover the team and writes for like these outlets and covers the team and goes to the games of this. But like they just suck right now. The Heat have been the better team for the entire series. The Celtics look lifeless with their season effectively on the line. They go out there and. Again, I didn't watch the game as closely as I usually do, but they laid an egg. It was nothing.
Yeah.
They gave the fans nothing. And for all the people sitting out there saying, oh, these fans at TD Garden are blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, if the team consistently plays like this, the fans are going to suck because they don't believe in the team. Like an inexcusable way for your season to effectively end. There is no redemption for this team anymore. We're not going to spend a ton of time talking about the future on this podcast, or maybe we will, but we'll have plenty of time to discuss.
Save it.
That's what I was going to say. We
Big
have
teams.
Plenty of time to discuss that this summer, but the spoiler alert or the small look ahead that we're not going to get into, you can't run this team back if this is the way they go out, in my opinion. Like a completely unacceptable display. I'm going to rant here. I'm sorry, Sam. I'm taking over for a quick second.
Guy who didn't watch the game.
Yeah, and well, I know enough.
The one of us that didn't watch the game. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. Go ahead.
There's and I saw you tweet this, is why I bring it up. Just shoot more threes crowd, blah, blah, blah. When you're not making the threes, you have to have a backup plan. I agree with. But when your backup plan is supposed to be stars go to the paint and do good things, and your stars are garbage, like, what are you going to do? Like, there's just nothing. The Heat it was the perfect storm of Miami is red hot. They're not missing anything, even when the Celtics play good defense. They're rolling over the Celtics because the Celtics are doing dumb stuff. The Celtics are also just still doing dumb stuff, and the Celtics are missing their open shots. There's nothing that I can say about the Celtics team anymore that I didn't say on the last podcast. We're going to keep regurgitating the same stuff because that's what it's going to take at this point. It's not coming back to Boston. This is done. Pack it up. I wish
it's done.
I wish I didn't have exactly. I wish I didn't have to watch Game 4.
It would be just like them to win on Tuesday.
Oh, it's gonna piss me off. You know what's gonna happen? They're gonna make it go to 7 or some shit just to tease you and piss you off.
That would be horrible if they went to 7 games.
This
isn't even like a reverse jinx thing. It genuinely be terrible.
Yeah.
Because even if they got to 7 games, I think all of us would be like, wow, they're gonna lose. Like, none of us would believe in them anyway because they've given us no reason all spring to believe in them. I tweeted that today.
ESPN Analytics can fuck off. Like, get stop. Just like
I can't wait to see what it's at tomorrow. I wonder if they'll give them like over 50% to win the series. Analytics are lame, man. I don't know. I've been saying it forever. I don't care for the analytics. And it's funny, like, Heat fans are like obviously plastering that stuff everywhere, rightfully so, because it was foolish to begin with.
I would too.
But Like along with it, I'm seeing like Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler going against analytics, where like the thing that they don't believe in the mid-range jumper, and Miami's just running that down their throat, is real funny because it's true. I've said it for a
Yeah.
very long time. There's a place in the game for that. And after Game 7 against Philly, I doubled down. Not doubled down, 'cause that
Especially in
wasn't
the
a bet
playoffs.
or a gamble,
Especially in
but
the playoffs, yeah.
it was such a big piece in how Tatum played well in that Game 7 to me. And then you really haven't seen a lot of it. They just have regressed back to shooting a bunch of threes. Today was a terrible day for the threes. And they really just continued to hoist them up when things got tough.
Mhm.
It just was like a really weird, like quitty type way to lose. 11 of
Loser.
42.
It was losers.
Ugh.
They played like losers. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, they did play like losers. They
And I'm
played
not usually the
absolutely
harsh
like
one.
losers.
I'm usually like the mild-mannered one. And like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
they've looked like losers for 3 games now. And it's really funny because after that Game 6 and 7 against Philly, I really was fooled in Game 1 against Miami. They came out and played really well in the first half. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, these guys turned a corner. This is it. They found their footing.
Yeah.
And then they've melted. They came out melting that third quarter. Kind of teased us all in Game 2, and then just played a miserable 48 minutes today. Jimmy Butler had, what, 16 points today?
That's what I
and
was
they got
just going to
killed?
say. Jimmy Butler had 16 points on 5 of 13 shooting, and they lost by 26 points.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Gabe Vincent, 11 of 14.
Gabe Vincent. Duncan Robinson getting layups, making threes. Like, it was... I had it on at the concert, like on my phone, and at halftime I just turned it off. I was like, this is just a waste of my time, and I'm ruining the experience. Like, it's just wasn't worth my time. Yeah, it's just embarrassing is really the only word I can muster up. Like, that's just...
I actually thought Jalen's stuff post-game today wasn't too bad.
What do you
I
say?
don't know how much of it you got to look at. He did come out like say it was embarrassing and things like that, but there were people speculating that there's something going on. I know Washburn was tweeting a lot of stuff. He said, let me go to his Twitter directly. But Jalen was talking about, it's an embarrassment for the franchise fans and
Definitely.
everything. And they continue to come out and do the same thing. Let's see. Jalen Brown is biting his tongue from telling the truth. You can tell he has a lot on his mind. There's some real issues in that locker room. This is from Washburn.
Interesting. I mean, I texted this to you, and again, like, I don't want to get too deep into like what changes do they need to make, but like, as young as they are, right? Like, Tatum is what, 25, Jalen Brown is 26. Like, these guys have been together for a long time. Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is their 6th season together as a team. And like, it's one thing when you're forming a team, like you're the Magic, right? This is the Magic's first year. But they're not ready to compete. And so there's no anger when they fail, right? They know they're a rebuilding team. They know they have work to do, blah, 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 right? The Thunder, right? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is so good, but even he's come out and said, like, he knows, I got to be patient. It's a young rebuilding team. I'm ready for the long haul, and they're going up. The Celtics team was competing for a championship the moment they were formed, right? Jason Tatum came in the league, conference finals his first season. As much as you want to say, oh, they weren't ready that year, they made the conference.
Well,
finals.
that was a year where everybody thought they were going to be competitive. You remember they had Kyrie all year, and then Kyrie goes out with an injury a week before the playoffs, and then they go to Game 7 and lose.
And then the next year, obviously,
but it's okay. He did a super cool dunk on LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. Next year, we know what happened. 2019 was a disaster year, but they were a competitive team, or they were supposed to be. 2019-20 rolls around, conference finals, competitive team. 2020-21. They were supposed to be a competitive team. Disappointment, right? They just weren't good. In the bubble year, whatever.
Wheels came off at the end.
Exactly, yeah. 2021-22, finals appearance. This year, conference finals. Like, they've been competing for titles together for so long. Like, cores don't stay together this long. Look at the Thunder. Look at Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, right? Like, stuff just naturally falls apart. James Harden wants his own thing. Kevin Durant wants to move on. Russell Westbrook, blah, blah, blah. Like, the Warriors are the anomaly, not the rule. And so at some point, stuff falls apart and like people clash heads. And like, as much as maybe it's hindsight, like you look at the bubble, there were like lingering stuff there, and Marcus and Jalen getting into it, and teammates do that. Like obviously teammates do that, but look what happened, and this is obviously not the same thing. You hear Draymond after the season say, "Yeah, like if I don't, if that punch doesn't happen preseason, we're probably in the."
I mean, this team could probably use Draymond.
Maybe you know what they could use? They could use Grant Williams. They could use Grant Williams playing with some heart. These fucking lifeless.
If I had to like make not a power rankings, but like Family Feud of who would be most likely to get punched if Draymond was on the team, not who deserves it, Grant number 1.
He would definitely get punched.
Grant's getting himself punched in the face.
Yeah. But at least he's playing with energy. Like at least he's playing with some intensity. Did you see the stat on Twitter that Grant Williams and Peyton Pritchard lead the Celtics in fourth quarter field goals this series?
Yeah, it's really sad. But also, I'm kind of sick of seeing people trash Tatum for this because I just don't think it's fair. Trash the other guy. One, Tatum didn't play in the fourth quarter today, but trash the other guys. I mean, Tatum is seeing in games 1 and 2 triple teams coming out.
I didn't watch again. Obviously, I didn't watch it closely, but Tatum looked kind of rough when I did watch him tonight.
Nobody was good today. Make no mistake.
Yeah. Tatum, I thought Tatum was
about
good
today.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
But if you're talking about the fourth quarter, and that's like the thing that people have pointed at throughout the series, obviously he didn't play the fourth quarter today. They were getting murdered. But in the first 2 games, he did play, but he was seeing triple teams. I'd rather him make the right pass than try and shoot over 3 guys. That's all I've done is complain all year about him taking dumb shots or tough threes. If he's not passing the ball and he's taking those shots, it's going to be just as bad of a reaction from everybody. There's nothing wrong with making the right play. The problem is when nobody wants to make the right play, a game like today, I'm going to find it and send it to you, Jack, so you can enjoy this too. I'm not sure you got to see this, but there was a possession where they were all kind of just hanging out. And then Jalen just chucked up a 3. It's coming to your Twitter right now.
That sounds about right. I mean, I came on this podcast and killed Jalen after game 2. That's pretty much all he was doing in game 2, right? Like he's just chucking shots no matter what. And in the few possessions I did watch tonight, I remember it was funny because I didn't have sound, obviously, but I was looking at closed captioning and I saw the announcers go, I don't remember. I think it was like second quarter. They're like, this is a big possession. And Celtics swing it and Jalen gets it in the corner and he just takes like the most contested corner 3 I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, and it was like obviously like airballed or braked or whatever. All right, I'm watching this possession now.
Tatum-Brown combined 1 of 14 from 3 today, by the way.
Jalen just chucks up the shot. How much time was on the shot clock there? 10 seconds. Plenty of time. Yeah, they had time. And if you want my honest take, and again, I keep saying we're not talking about the future, but like it's hard not to like just speculate. Like this could, I don't know if Jalen like comes back in a Celtics uniform. Like not even like I'm saying the Celtics should do that, but like if I'm him and Gary Washburn, what he had to say has anything like any truth to it, like does he like just decline? It's just a lot of stuff we need to talk about this summer. And the only reason I'm even bringing it up now is because like I genuinely am just at a loss for words with this team at this point. Like it's really hard. Like I sound like an asshole saying it's really hard to do like content about. Like, I'm sitting here behind a microphone, but like it's just baffling the decisions that are being made on the court by Joe Mazzulla, who getting a lot of heat after this one too.
Joe Mazzulla, who was at the wrong end of perhaps some libel tonight on Twitter. Did you see this?
I saw that half tweeted quote or whatever.
Yeah, Jared Weiss like phoned it in, and then everybody was like, "Hey, look, Joe Mazzulla said he lost the team," and then the video comes out, and that's not at all what he said.
No.
Everybody just starts killing him, and then he kind of like he
half doubled down.
Yeah, he like kind of doubled down. He was like, "Screw all you guys. This is what I tweeted. I said what I said."
Well,
but then the video's out. That's not at all what happened. So I actually half feel bad for Mazzulla on that front because he's gonna really get like killed now, and and I think I saw it might have been Andrew Doxey put this out. You know how much more people are going to pick up the written quote than the actual video footage of it.
Yeah. No, they're gonna run with the quote that Jared tweeted out.
So he's just gonna be all over Twitter today as the coach that lost the locker room before the series was even over.
Definitely.
He just came
Definitely.
out
But
and
like,
said it.
as much as that's not what he said, like it does kind of feel that way, right? It's obviously like Missoula's never going to admit that, and he didn't admit that despite the quote, but like it just seems like this team is completely discombobulated, completely disconnected. And like I said, it feels like it's kind of run its course as shitty as it is. Cause like obviously this is a championship caliber team at their best, but they're incapable of playing at their best when it matters. And I think we said this last podcast. It kind of feels like we last podcast we talked about how Atlanta was just not very good, and Philly has a history of blowing up in their own face. And so now they have the real test in Miami, who, as much as they're an 8 seed, they're just like they're a put together, well-oiled
Miami battled a
machine.
lot of injuries this year. They probably
Exactly.
would have been
So
anywhere from 6 to 4.
we talked about that, but we didn't talk about, which I think is kind of true, is like the Celtics probably shouldn't have gotten this far in the playoffs. And I don't think this is going to be me shitting on the team because they deserve it at this point. I don't think this team is as good as the Eastern Conference Finals team. Realistically, they played like crap for like what is it, like 3.5 games against Atlanta. They played great in the first 2 games, and the rest of the series they were bad. And they put it together at the end to win game 4, and then they pulled it out in the last 5 minutes of game 6. Right? Right? Bad otherwise. They were terrible against Philly. Outside of game 2 and then game 7, bad. You lost to an Embiidless team. You lost to an Embiidless team. You came back and you crapped the bed in games 2 and 3. In game 6, you got bailed out by Jason Tatum, who was the reason you were losing in the first place, but he came back and bailed you out. And then game 7, as much it was dominant, like it was dominant because Jason Tatum had the best game of his life, right? If Jason Tatum doesn't make a ton of shots, not all easy shots, they lose that game. Or it's at least closer, as much as it was dominant. Well, like you look at this playoff run, and then
good.
Like I'm almost done. And then you look at it in the context of this is what they're like against a team that's actually well put together, well coached, and a well-oiled machine. Like that Philly team had run its course, and we know that now because Doc is fired. That Atlanta team switched coaches halfway through the season and has to figure things out. And they had a ton of issues this season. You put them up against Jimmy Butler, who's one of the best playoff performers of all time. He just is at this point. Eric Spoelstra, who's, probably a top 5 coach of all time at this point. He's like amazing. And as much as they don't have the role players that stand out of the sheet, a bunch of guys who don't give a shit and are just going to play their role to perfection. And the Celtics wilt. And it's like not even close to a series.
No.
Terrible.
Like they were in position to win both games 1 and 2. It doesn't mean that they should have won them or they're better than Miami.
They were clearly the worst
very
team.
Clearly they were not better than Miami,
yeah.
and that's why they lost those games. I said it with Tim on the pregame a bit, but Miami played a million clutch games this year. I remember seeing it was almost like a joke. Every game it felt like it was a clutch game for those guys. So they do have a ton of experience, not to say like that makes a ton of difference. Like they just have players that are better in those situations. And it's just true. Like the Celtics are not a good clutch team. They haven't been. Why'd they lose in the bubble? Because they lost games in clutch situations. Look at game 1. They blew like a big lead. Like the bubble was like did you say this? Did you say the foreshadowing was in the bubble? Or did I see this on Twitter?
I did the smart Jalen thing when they got into it. That was
so even like more to go into that. They were blowing leads then. They were screwing around, losing close games then.
They did it last year too, but people just like to forget about it because they made the finals. They did it last year.
Well, the finals thing was a good achievement. And it's not what we do as Celtics fans is celebrate that. But realistically for this group, that's what it was. Like for years and years, they'd made 2017, Jalen's rookie year, they make conference finals, lose. Then they make it the next year, lose. Then 2019 happens. 2020, they lose again. So this is 3 out of 4 years they make it, lose all 3. We're like, okay, these guys can't get over the hump. They can't get to the finals. They finally do it. And we're like, oh my God, this rules. And they should have won the finals. And then what did they do? Lost a clutch game. And then it screwed them.
Yep.
So now we're back to square one. They go and they retool and they add Brogdon and, the depth is going to be a problem. Brogdon was terrible today. by the way. He was so bad. 0 of 6. I didn't know it was that bad. 0 of 6, 0 points, 18 minutes.
So did he play with the same tunnel vision he has the entire playoffs, except this time he just missed?
He had 2 assists.
Good for him.
Nasty.
Good for him.
I think he's definitely whatever wrist forearm thing he's got with that weird sleeve that looks like he's a waiter at IHOP that doesn't want to burn his forearm
Malcolm?
carrying plates. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think whatever that is really bothering him, which sucks.
Mhm.
And I like Malcolm. Malcolm has been a good Celtic all season, I think. I don't think he's been an issue. It's just in the playoffs, he hasn't been very good.
Yep.
He's had his moments where he's been okay, and you've said the turnovers kill you with him. Every time he has a turnover, it's just the absolute worst time for a turnover.
It is. It's like the craziest turnover, too. It's never just like, oh, he lost the handle. It's like the most ridiculous thing. Yeah, like I just looked at his one turnover today, and he literally just passed it into Jimmy Butler's hand or Gabe Vincent's hand. Like, it's comedic.
Just to circle back to Tatum, because we kind of
Yeah.
talked about that game 7. I really think as much as I was aggravated with Tatum throughout these playoffs, he did really show up at the big moments, it felt like. The game 6 and game 7 against Philly was fantastic. I think that was really a big moment for him as a player to show that he can compete. And again, he was good in the first 2 games of this Miami series. Make no mistake. He was playing the hand he was dealt with, the triple, double teams that were thrown at him. He has to pass the ball in the fourth quarter. Everybody that was like clowning him for that, I don't get why. Like, yeah, should your best player get looks in the fourth quarter? Absolutely, he should, but not when he's facing 3 defenders. Not in a way that they're shadowing the first guy and just monitoring him. He's seeing 3 defenders in his face.
Yeah. Too many people like. And I love Kobe, right? Respect, like obviously, like his game. Too many people are of the mindset of like, who cares? Stars take the shot no matter what. That's just bad. Like that's just
LeBron
bad
doesn't do
basketball.
that.
Exactly. And people crap on him for it. They always have. But you got to make the right play, especially if you're seeing 3. And this particularly doesn't help when your co-star is having the worst series of his career.
He might be hurt too.
He might be hurt, but
do
like
you remember?
I said,
you know what play I'm talking about in the game 7 against Philly? Like they're out there up 30. Don't know why. By the way, don't know why they were up there when they were up 30.
Do you think that's why he might be mad?
What did you say?
Do you think that's why he might be mad? Because he got hurt when he didn't have to be out there? Okay.
No. And if he is mad about that, that's just weird. Because while he didn't have to be out there, he didn't have to like try and do a massive dunk, which I think is when he hurt his hand. Like he tried to dunk on somebody.
True.
Like, I don't know. That's your own fault, brother. Joe didn't like make you try and dunk on the guy.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen with Joe, man. I don't know. Is it Jover? You've seen the meme on Twitter?
If he didn't get extended, I think he'd be fired. I think he'd be let go.
I think it's just tough. I've had a couple people say this to me today, and this is not a new take, but the extension or the official gifting of the title before a playoff run is just asinine. And at the time, it was a little like iffy, and we probably talked about it then. We might have swept it under the rug.
I mean, we've been furious defenders of Joe all season, and I think that's just because, which I agree with, like blaming the coach is lame. It just is.
That's more of what it was for me.
Throughout the postseason, I think it's become more clear that, like, or at least I've seen it more, that's like, at the times you're supposed to make these adjustments and make the right subs, we're just kind of seeing him not do that. Like in a series where you're a 3-point shooting team and you're shooting 26%, Sam Hauser doesn't play, right? You have him on your bench. Like as much as you want to keep
not
this
very good in garbage time.
Sure, but like in general, you get him in the flow of the game, he's better. Like you have all these pieces, and as much as you want to keep this tight knit 8-man rotation, blah blah blah, like when you're tight knit, 8-man rotation is Al Horford shooting like 10% from 3, Jaylen Brown 0 of 7 from 3, Marcus Smart not hitting his threes, Malcolm Brogdon not even, like move the needle, change something, put somebody else in there. Now was the night for Peyton Pritchard with Malcolm Brogdon playing like crap, like not game 1. On top of that, like I talked about it a lot after game 2. How are Rob and Derek not on the floor in the final 5 minutes? What are we doing? They were the second and third best players on the court that night, and you're just not going to play them? I don't care if Jaylen Brown is an all-NBA player. If he sucks, take him off the court. This is not the time for egos to be like there. And the easy counterpoint to that is like, oh, he left Jason on the court in game X6 against Philly, and he turned it around. Like, sure, I understand that, but the difference is Jason Tatum, in my opinion, and maybe I'm wrong, wasn't taking shots outside of the flow of the offense, right? Like he was just taking threes that were in the flow or driving to the hoop and wasn't connecting. Jaylen Brown was taking the ball and calling his own number time and time again. And like, it's just frustrating, man. And like all the stuff with Jaylen saying, biting his tongue or whatever you want to say, and read into that, don't read into that, whatever. With the team as talented as this one, Joe could be a great coach one day. I think he has the tools, but it's just like, it's never been clear to me more that he's just probably not ready for this. And like I said, I've defended him all season, and I genuinely despise that I have to like concede on this point because so many people have been saying it all season, and I don't think the Celtics fire him. I know, and
him at the time
agree, and I don't think the Celtics fire him because he's got so much money. It is like discussing in the Celtics blog chat, like this ownership group has been very, I mean, they traded Daniel Tice 2 years ago to avoid paying the tax. You think they're going to pay Joe Mazzulla X amount of money to not coach for 4 years? Like, no.
Well, so they also want to win. In fairness, then they didn't want to pay Tice because that wasn't a winning team.
Well, they only paid the tax this year because they were like,
they thought they were going to compete.
Or no, because they were like bullied into it. Like everyone was like, pay the tax. Like everyone's like yelling, like blah blah blah, like crapping on them, and so they did it. And as much as you say that, like, oh, they wanted to pay this year, you think they're going to want to pay it after they lost in the conference finals like this? Like, hell no. They're going to do everything they can do to avoid it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what to think.
I think Joe's the coach next year. I don't think
as far as Mazzulla goes, I've always thought it was lazy to blame the coach. We touched on that already. But I always also thought it was lazy that there was no backup plan when the threes didn't go in. And I know we've gone back and forth about that all year. And I have a counterpoint. Changed your stance.
I do. I have a counterpoint. And I think it's one you'll agree with. It's not like me talking about analytics. I think their backup plan for when the threes don't fall
is just lose by 1 million.
Should be / is get Tatum and Brown downhill. It's just hard to do that when they're playing like shit. And I think that's been a big part of it. It's like your backup plan is some Jaylen Brown mid-range shots, some Jason Tatum shots at the rim. And while Jason Tatum was great in games 1 and 2, Jaylen Brown hasn't been hitting his shots this series, so your backup plan's gone. Jason Tatum couldn't get downhill in game 3. And then it's not even like the offense was bad in the sense that, like, it's not like they weren't getting good shots. They just didn't fucking make them. Like, Al Horford's missing open threes. Derek White missed open threes. Malcolm Brogdon missed open threes. There was a stat, actually. In this series, Derek White is 9 of 16 from 3, and the rest of the team is 22 of 90, 24%. You're just not going to win games like that. And as much as Joe Mazzulla might come out and say, yeah, that's the basis of it, like, that's a big part of it, but they're also just, it's really deflating to watch them play like they played in game 3. And that comes from a guy who was half watching. So I can't imagine what it was like to watch, like,
a lot of air balls.
Yeah.
Well, not hitting the rim a whole lot.
I meant just like the laziness, like in the minute, in the brief, like, times I watched, it just looks like they didn't care. It looked like they were ready for.
They physically gave up today. You could see it. That's what the scoreline reflects. I mean, you gave up 30 points in the first 3 quarters each net. I mean, every quarter you gave up 30 plus. But it was just like increasingly worse. The offense is, oddly enough, just as much of a problem. Like, they look lost. Whatever Spoelstra's cooking up for them, zone, the double teams, the junk defense.
Joe was getting completely outclassed by Eric Spoelstra. And I mean, he obviously, Eric Spoelstra is like one of the best coaches in the world.
My favorite stretch of the game today was right after halftime. Jaylen misses a good look at a 3. Like, it was good offense. They find him in the corner. He shoots it, hits the back of the rim. Marcus gets the rebound through 2 Heat guys, like, rips it away from him. And one puts it back. And then Heat basket, air ball, Heat basket, and one.
Also, anybody talking about the refs after that game doesn't know ball. Stop.
Well,
They were bad at times. They were
bad, but also the Celtics were worse.
Exactly. Sean Grandy just tweeted. That was the Celtics' 98th game of the year. It ranked 86th offensively. 98th game of the year, 86th offensively. 96th defensively. The only defensive games that were worse were February 23rd against Indiana in Indiana and that OKC game where they lost by 50. This is their defensive rating in the regular season was 1.106, second of 30 teams. Playoffs 1.135, 10th of 16 teams. Opponent 3-point percentage, 34.5% in the regular season, fourth in the league. Playoffs 37.4%, 11th to 16. Their defense has been like inexcusably bad. Like incomprehensibly bad. I can't even think of adjectives anymore. I'm making up words to
That's
say
number
how bad
one
it's
for
been.
me. Is
Agreed.
defense.
And it's crazy that
should be your backup plan. We just talked about the threes, the backup plan. And we've said it before. This is not a new thing. You have to control what you can control. They said it on the broadcast today. It kind of felt ripped off. But seriously, you can control if you try on defense. Some days, like today, like this whole series, you can't really control if the threes are going to fall. It sucks when they don't, and it really pisses me off when they just hoist them up. But at the end of the day, if that's your offense and that's your game plan, and you're still getting good shots for the most part, you have to play defense to make up for the misfortune. That's how you can muck up a game. Just look what Miami's done to them all series by playing defense. You look and you watch the Celtics maybe rip off a turnover from Miami, and all those guys are already back. There's no lack of urgency. There is nothing. They are disciplined. They are in the spot, and they're ready to defend. They're on to the next play. Meanwhile, you have the Celtics, especially in this game, and it might be what really did them in early, complaining and just not getting back.
Yeah, bad.
Did they get a tough go at the beginning of the game with the whistle? Maybe. But you know what you did is you played so bad that no one even cares.
Yep.
You said it. You just said you don't know ball. If that's your takeaway, then you don't know ball. And it's correct.
Weird thing I've seen on Twitter. Like, there's a whole movement that's like Joe Mazzulla's biggest failure is not playing Blake Griffin. I just think that's a weird thing to like pick out among all the things that have gone wrong in the series. Like, it's just very rare. Like, could he help them? Maybe with the energy, sure, but like, you shouldn't need Blake to help you. And also, he'd probably get absolutely cooked by everybody on the Heat. Like, do you remember that period in December where they had to play drop defense with Blake and it just completely failed? Like,
that's
I
when
love
everyone
Blake,
was like, "Oh my god, these guys are human."
Yeah, and I love Blake, but no, I don't think so.
Blake's gone.
Yeah,
you wasted a year of his life. You made him live in this winter weather for no ring. You did bring him the furthest he's ever been.
This is true. Yeah, man, it's just like embarrassing. That's the only word. That's the only word. What else do we say? That's the word. That's the word for the day.
It's been the word of the playoffs.
It's
Being a good team in the playoffs is no longer fun.
I saw you tweet this, and I saw you tweet this, and I have a spin off to it. For all the people tweeting about the 04 Red Sox.
Yeah, you're such a loser. I'm sorry. If you're tweeting about it, you are such a loser.
My counterpoint, not that I'm disagreeing with it, like to add on to it. The counterpoint is, in the clip that I saw on Twitter, Dave Roberts, did you follow the Red Sox or read baseball guy at all? Do you understand the reference? Dave Roberts steals second, and that's the big turnaround, right?
He's trying, actually.
Exactly. Yeah, he's showing some passion. He's showing some energy. You look at the Celtics, is lifeless. There's your difference. Like the Red Sox had that energy. They had the spark. They were ready to go, and so they were able to do something historical.
And sadly, there are people I like that have been tweeting about it. But it kind of made me want to be like, shut up.
I think some of it was satirical, but
I hope so.
Still, yeah.
We'll chalk it up to that. Some of it was definitely genuine. I had to. I texted Jack and I was like, I'm really proud of myself. I tweeted this nicer version of what I wanted to say. I was like the game wasn't even over yet, and I was just like, just shut up.
I can't express to you how happy I was that I was at a concert tonight instead of.
Yeah, you lucked out. You missed like a good game to miss. I wish we could
Yeah.
all just miss Tuesday's game. I'm really mad at myself. Not that I don't have a chance to do it again on Tuesday. I didn't tweet the clown gift today.
I
meant to.
disaster.
I was like halfway through the game, and I was like, I didn't do it. I didn't tweet the clown.
Sean
That's
Grady,
one of my favorite things.
Trailing by 29 in the final minutes of a game in which you haven't given up an offensive rebound and are plus 19 on the glass is
That is
statistically
crazy.
insane. And you want to know why? It's because
They
Miami didn't miss, and the Celtics missed a lot.
Oh,
And,
let's get into that a bit.
Oh, yeah.
You know what the best is when Gabe Vincent shoots, like, what is it? Whatever stat Muse put out, crazy. Oh, I have it.
Also, for the prefacing this, for the Heat fans listening, we're not crapping on the Heat. The Heat obviously deserve their praise.
Gabe Vincent, who was shooting 60% from the field and 55% from three, before this series shot 36.8% from the field and 33.8% from deep. So if you hear me on this show say, I really don't think Gabe Vincent's that good, that's why. And it's funny, coming into the series, I think we were talking about it, or I was writing an article about.
I was high on Gabe Vincent coming into the series.
I was like, yeah, I thought he was good. And then I looked at the percentages and I was like, really? He's been that bad?
He was playing better than his percentages. And now, unfortunately, he's added the percentages to his game.
The Celtics have been god-awful, and they deserve the brunt of the blame. They deserve every mean thing anybody's saying about them, except for the death threats, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe leave those out.
Chill out on that.
Like, they are catching a little bit of a tough break with some of these Heat splits. Let's see. Hold on. All right, ready? I've got them all up. We've got wait, why is this like this?
Oh, man.
Conference finals.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back. Mm-hmm. Okay. Caleb Martin, 63% from the field. Gabe Vincent, 60% from the field. Bam, 57% from the field. Duncan Robinson, 59% from the field, 53% from deep.
Oh,
I mean, come on, man.
Well, the way I framed it to you was like the Celtics are leaking off of the perimeter guys in favor of trying to make life harder on Jimmy, which also isn't working.
Well, they did that today, and they haven't been doing that.
Well, and then they let these guys see one go down, and then they're just hot. And then
you know what the best is when Duncan Robinson gets to see him go down, but it's on like a free layup.
Yeah.
After he blows by Grant Williams and he looked like he might try and dunk on somebody. Like that's how much steam Duncan Robinson was able to build up on a drive. I was like, oh my God, is he going to like try and do a big dunk?
He's about to bring the podcast back after this series.
And then not only does he like make the layup, but then Tatum starts jumping up and down and he's like, he pushed off me.
Yeah.
He's very upset about the officiating.
Yeah.
Well, I was right about Haywood Highsmith. He hasn't been the killer that some thought he may be in this series.
Well, maybe it's my fault. I'll do hand up my bad here. Before game one, I was walking past the court with Cam and Bobby, who you've heard me talk about many times on the show. And Caleb Martin was warming up. I turned to Cam. I go, he's going to have a big game in the series. So hand up my bet on that one.
You were wrong. He had like 3.
It's true.
I just can't believe I'm sorry, if these are the guys that are beating you, you don't deserve to win a title. And that's not because quote unquote they're bad. Like people got really pissed at that. It's because they're outworking you. That's the only way you lose to these guys is you get outworked. It's true. The Celtics are the more talented team. The Miami Heat are the more cohesive team and the team that knows how to actually play basketball.
They're the better team.
Aren't brain dead. Yeah.
Yep.
And they're well coached. That's why they're at the point they're at regardless. Even if the Celtics came out and won the series, they still had to get here. They still had to beat teams.
It's not the perfect comparison because obviously different levels of players. You can tell the Celtics are outcoached because Kevin Love, who has been starting and playing a lot of minutes this series, got 4 minutes tonight because Eric Spoelstra, and he shot 2 of 3, 1 of 1.
No, he hurt himself.
He hurt himself early? Yeah. But regardless of that, Cody Zeller got 17 minutes tonight, and another game he'll get 25. Duncan Robinson got 22 tonight. Another game he'll get 5. Right?
Also, big shame on the Celtics for letting Cody Zeller make a field goal.
He made 2 tonight.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
But like Eric Spoelstra is so willing to change the rotation and play whoever he needs to. Like Lowry got 28 minutes tonight. He didn't play a lot in game 2, right? Like because they went with Gabe Vincent. And Gabe Vincent played like crap in game 2, and then he hit a huge shot.
Yeah, 1
like,
of 7.
It's just
you bet your ass he makes the dagger.
Miami's rotation is so much more malleable because Eric Spoelstra is willing to let other people play in the place of others, and like part of that is like they have 2 stars and everybody else is close to the same level. But like in the playoffs, you can't treat like high level role players any different than the rest of your team. You need to play who is going to give you the best chance to win. And after a lineup in game 2 of Tatum, Brogdon, Grant Williams, Robert Williams, Derek White was phenomenal, they never went back to it because they wanted to play Allen Smart like that. Like as much as I'm a big Smart guy, love Al, obviously, like you got to play who's going to give you the best chance to win. And they haven't done that. They've just played the guys, the fellas.
Some reports are starting to leak out that they should just play us.
Yeah. Hey,
maybe we try.
At least I would have tried. I would have gotten out there, walked up and down the court a little bit.
Jack on a bad ankle would have went out there and battled.
Yeah.
Just disgusting stuff from the Celtics. This series has had everything that makes my blood boil. It's had poor Celtics performances, obviously. It's had a bunch of threes that haven't gone in. Mm-hmm. It's had guys on the other team that have no business playing the way they're playing, play at a high level. Mm. It's just terrible. And of course, Celtics losing.
Brett on Twitter, the BG_12 just tweeted, I think we kind of have an OKC Thunder issue in Boston right now with the Celtics, a lesser extent though, as in like the Harden Durant or the Harden Russ Durant. I think it's getting to that point, man. I think
that's an overreact. I don't think it's an overreact. I feel like you might have to change some things, but I don't know what the appropriate reaction is yet. I think
we'll know a lot after the season. I think we'll know a lot more when the season ends.
One of my favorite tweets of the night.
Yes.
Celtics got beat so bad, Bill Simmons is trending on Twitter. Magic actually tweeted some facts today, and not in like a corny Magic way. But seriously, he said, in my 44 years of being associated with the NBA, I never thought I'd see a Boston Celtics team, a franchise with 17 championships, quit. I know Celtics fans all over the world must be disgusted and devastated. The Miami Heat, well, this is where he tweets the obvious thing. The Miami Heat blew them out 128-102 in Game 3, but Magic really is like kind of hitting it on the head. Not that he ever misses factually because he just tweets the most obvious stuff ever.
Also tweeted, time for the Boston Celtics to make major changes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what they should do.
Oh, I can get your blood to boil again. Have you seen this stuff on Twitter? It was half ironic, but people saying, question, should the NBA host a third place game this year? It would probably do better ratings.
That did make my blood boil. I didn't even say it to you. Yeah, I was like, wow, all you people are such losers. You know what the other thing that's really like getting under my skin is?
Yeah.
Is like the people bitching about the ratings. Like, shut up. I don't care what the ratings are. This is going to be a
great finals. Like,
well, I don't.
Objectively, I know you don't.
You suck for that. But
what?
You can enjoy it, yes.
It's going to be a good, like, the basketball is going to be good. Jimmy Butler has been fun. It's the two best.
Maybe if ESPN wasn't like, oh, the Lakers are down 0-3. Let's talk about how the Lakers are down 0-3 instead of like Jokic and how he, like, you can even talk about Jokic in a funny way. Be like, look at this guy. Can you believe he's good at basketball? And then like show the picture of him as a kid.
It's so bad. And we're getting a matchup.
Like Jimmy Butler rules, and he's been an awesome figure throughout the playoffs, really over the last couple of years.
Yeah,
but he's ruled. He had that awesome game against Miami where he scored 56 points. I mean, Milwaukee.
The finals is going to be the two best players in the playoffs.
I will say this. So help me God if Miami goes to the finals and just plays like they played all season. Meaning not making a lot of shots, shooting 27th best in the league from 3. So help me God. So help me God if Gabe Vincent shoots like 1 of 10 and Caleb Martin is nowhere to be found. Like, I obviously am upset that the Celtics are probably not going to win the series. But I'll be more upset if, like, you have a Cavs situation where you look like you're absolutely lost against the Knicks in the first round, and then the Knicks just get murdered.
Yeah.
Like one of their 2 wins came when Jimmy Butler was hurt, and they
I don't
still.
think the Heat would roll over like that, though. I just don't. I can't see
Yeah,
it.
I don't know if they'd roll over, but clock could strike midnight. On
Well, like you
Cinderella
said, yeah, like you said, Gabe Vincent shot like crap for the first 3 rounds, and it didn't matter because other people stepped up. Like I think they'll find a way. I'm not saying they'll definitely win the finals, but I can't imagine they go out sad like the Celtics have.
Of all the teams they've played, this is the most respectable team the Celtics could lose to.
They're rolling them. Oh yes. I thought you were gonna say like
Thank God they didn't lose to Philly.
it's crazy because like this is also probably the best team, including the fact that obviously Giannis was hurt. Like this is the best team Miami has faced, and they're making them look like the easiest, which is crazy.
Well,
and
the
I think that
Celtics are
tells
helping them
you
out.
exactly, and I think that tells you where the Celtics are at potentially mentally. But yeah, man,
All right,
disaster.
Jack, you lucked out. You got to go to this concert today.
Woo! Yeah,
we can pivot away from this, and we can have a little fun.
I don't have to talk too long about the concert, but
well, you
was
tweeted
fun.
some things today.
I did.
You texted me some things. I don't know how many you want to talk about, but there were some interesting facts in there.
No, it was awesome. It was a great concert. I love Taylor Swift. I didn't know like a bunch of songs, obviously, because I'm not I don't follow her, but like Love Story, You Belong With Me, both elite, both amazing. I tweeted out after the game. Celtics lose game 3 to Heat 128-102.
Oh, this tweet actually kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, my thoughts. Love Story and You Belong With Me completed my childhood. Phenomenal. Great to hear them live. Shake It Off was electric. It's the most basic song, but the crowd got amped. It was great. All Too Well 10-minute version was awesome. Bad Blood was fire, literally, because they shot fire out of the pyrotechnics. Very cool. The concert was great. And then, yeah, the Celtics, obviously. But no, concert was awesome. I enjoyed it. The loudest place I've ever been to, like not even close. That was phenomenal. It was just a great experience. I'm not obviously not as Swifty as a lot of these people, as a lot of the people there were, but it was a good concert. Yeah, no complaints. It was all the songs were good. I enjoyed it.
Did not rain.
Did not rain. She talked about
hot?
that on the stage. No, it was really good temperature. It was like perfect condition. I was
even with a lot of people. How did
Yeah,
you
we
deal
were-
with the fear of the crowd? You're
didn't
not a
love
big
the
crowd guy.
Didn't like crowds. Leaving was worse because like we were clumped in, but like we actually got the aisle seats, which was electric. My dad sat on the aisle. I sat next to him. It was good. It was me, my dad, my mom, my sister, and her 2 friends. But it was good. It was a very good concert.
Henry did not go.
She was awesome. No, Henry's still in school, so he couldn't go.
Kind of W Henry.
Yeah. Excuse me. No, it was a great concert. Great concert. Very good. Much more entertaining than the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me there.
No, very good. Got the merch. Very expensive bit. I will say I'm gonna give this. They didn't have my sister's size, so she's just gonna take this. I just wore it for the bit
Okay.
for the thing.
Well, I will say
I would keep it though. It's comfy.
we were good on our promise. We bought the super cool Tatum shoes. I was
We
not good at my
did.
promise after game 1 or game 2 when I was on the pregame and I was like, "Oh, we'll show you after the game" because I thought they'd win.
We were so mad.
I have them in the bag. I'm not going to get them because I have my earpiece in. But they are a good shoe. They are very light. I played in them yesterday. I enjoyed myself. My feet felt fine.
How'd you do?
It was fine. Actually, yesterday I played fine. Wasn't anything crazy.
There you go. Oh man, what a disaster! I'll apologize now, Landon, if you're still listening. I didn't keep timestamps today. I'm just gonna put like we got mad for 50 minutes. Like that's what we did.
Wow. Just turn your back.
I've been doing that a lot this postseason. Like after the Hawks game 5, after Philly game 3, I just put no timestamps, just rage. Like that. That's what I put down.
It's actually not a bad t-shirt.
This one?
No, the no timestamps.
Oh,
just rage.
God damn it. Yeah. Funny. I got nothing else. The concert was good. I thought it was cool. Taylor Swift was awesome. She's a dope person. Good concert. Very hype.
She's whatever. I don't get it. But whatever.
That's all I got.
It's 1:34. We gave you 50 minutes.
Yeah,
you should be
you
very
got it.
proud with us.
Yes.
I'm not sure if a lot of people are gonna watch this one or not. Said that last time, and the most people ever that watched our show. And a lot of them were actually pretty nice. So thank you.
We're up to 420 subscribers.
Yeah, We were at 360 something.
Yeah.
2 days ago. Let's see.
Yeah.
Another tweet about the Red Sox. Shut up. Like, I don't want to see like the weird positive stuff today. Just be miserable with everybody. It's okay to be upset.
Yeah. All right. We can wrap there. We appreciate you. Thank you very much for listening to Last Pod. Hopefully you enjoy this one. Well, we got 47 subscribers from the last podcast alone. So we appreciate you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe if you're here. If you like us, leave some comments. Be mean to us. We got 200 comments on the last podcast.
Some people are mean.
Some are mean. Some are nice. We don't care. We
try telling us we don't know ball.
It's fine. You can tell us whatever you want. We don't care. Thank you for listening. Thank you for enjoying. If you did, we hope you did. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. How About Them Celtics? Like I always say, leave the rating on Spotify, 5 stars. 5 stars on Apple. Leave the review there. Follow the podcast on Apple and Spotify. If you're listening on YouTube and you usually only listen on YouTube, at least go give us a follow there. Leave a rating. It'll help boost us there as well. But we appreciate you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Go ahead, Sam.
Yes, thank you very much for listening or watching. If you're watching, you're on the YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like. Make sure you hit the bell. You'll get notifications every time we do something new, whether it's the 5 a.m. drop or 30 minutes before Tuesday's Game 4. You'll get the pregame notification that we're live. Make sure, streaming services, go follow, leave a nice review, 5 stars, nice comments. Leave the mean stuff for YouTube. On top of that, socials at How About Them C's. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Facebook is just the name of the pod. You will also get those pregame streams right to your Facebook feed if you like us. You can follow Jack at Jack1NBA. You can follow me at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac-toe.